Pop.
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 Pop. Pop. Pop.
I'm Cathy Parkham, and I'm going to read Gerard Manley Hopkins' Sonnet 45. I wake and feel the fell of dark, not day. What hours, oh, what black hours we have spent this night. What sights you heart saw, ways you went. And more must, and yet longer lights delay. With witness I speak this, but where I say hours, I mean years, mean life. And my lament is cries countless, cries like dead letters sent to dearest him that lives, alas, away. I am gall. I am heartburn, God's most deep decree. Bitter would have me taste, my taste was me. Bones built in me, flesh filled, blood brimmed the curse. Self yeast of spirit, a dull dough sours. I see the lost are like this, and their scourge to be as I and mine, their sweating selves, but worse. Hopkins is my man, basically. I always go back to this poem again and again. I mean, I think there's just something about his sprung rhythm and his newly compounded words that just cleave the soul. And this sonnet cleaves mine, this is a poem where you find some kind of, maybe I find kinship. In my darker hours, it's a depressing poem. A dull dough sours. But at the same time, in finding kinship in this poem, I find a reassurance. And, I think Hopkins is also a poet who I've always loved, but who's actually really influenced me within the last few years. With my latest book, Engine Empire, a lot of kind of my words, my English stock has been, influenced by him. I think I've plundered Hopkins a little bit. But I love him because his poems feel things so intensely, both in its delight and love of a vibrant and dappled world. But he also, his poems are also incredibly dark as well. And it's that intensity that I love. And now I will read my own sonnet, influenced by Hopkins, with a little bit of berryman at the end. And it's called Seed Seller's Sonnet. My mind slides like a sword in my mouth, and I awake caked in spit. Shame is choked with blokes, not enough dames. I am generations old, yet I am a virgin. Tripey thoughts rack my loins. I am a runt squeaming for a grim little teat. Though once I was so decent from such humble backgrounds, my ma bit her arm to feed us brothers three. Am I cursed? I drink the myrrh her life who forced me alive. History and tones catch up, while a number rots, then another. Beautiful bicycles, City of broken spokes, 1,000 women floated to heaven. Then I had a most marvelous piece of luck. I died. The question. This is the question. Who would you like to write a poem for but haven't yet? Why haven't you written that poem for them yet? And I chose that question because it was something that I was actually just thinking about the other day. And I feel guilty about this, but the poem that I have not yet written the poem that the person who I haven't written a poem for yet is my husband. Uh, my husband mourns, and I need to write one, of course. And why haven't I written that poem yet? Because I have a hard time with writing love poems. I don't know how. I have tried and I've tried, and there's this playwright, Young Jean Lee, who I actually invited her to speak at my college, and her way of writing is, she tries to think of the worst thing that she could write a play about, and then she writes that play. And so basically it's all about kind of pushing herself, getting herself into that kind of discomfort zone, and then writing that play. And her plays are provocative and crazy and absurd and just conversation starters. And I was thinking about that. What would be the worst thing for me to write a poem about? What would be my discomfort zone? And that would be to write an autobiographical love poem. And I don't know why. I don't know why it's so hard for me to write a love poem. I've written poems about language, war, riots. I've written poems about the individual consciousness in relationship to the collective. And I think maybe that's part of what it is that I'm much more fascinated with, or not fascinated with, but I think about sort of the poem as a city, a world, a group of people. But when it comes down to the nitty-gritty and getting really intimate and writing a poem, an ode to my loved one, which is my husband, it's really, really hard. But I've been thinking about this, and I think this is what I need to do. I need to sit down and write a sonnet, many sonnets.